Boker Tov, good morning. Today is Friday, October 1st, Erev Shabbat, Parashat Breishit. We begin a new cycle of the Torah this Shabbat. And we are introduced through the Parashat to some of the major issues of life as we read about creation and that what ensues from creation itself. And perhaps one of the more dramatic stories in the Parashat is the story of Cain and Abel, Cain and Hevel, where Cain arises and kills his brother seemingly out of jealousy for God having accepted his sacrifice and his not being accepted. But the Midrash actually presumes there's more going on here, and it actually emerges from a strange verse in the Parasha, which says the following: Vayomer Cain el Hevel achiv, and Cain said to Abel his brother, and it was when they were out in the field, that he rose against his brother and he killed him. And so you had this strange missing phrase. The quote is missing. And Cain said to Hevel his brother, and you want the quote. And you don't have the quote. All you have is the next part of the verse, and it was they were in the field. So some commentary says, well, that's what he said to him. He said, let's go out to the field, and he wanted to get out in the field where he can, away from his father, he can kill him there. That is a very clear possible way to read the text. Says the Midrash, no. There was a whole diyun, there was a whole give and take that went on between them that brought them to this moment. It wasn't just about the jealousy. It was about something of God's not accepting the sacrifice. It was much broader than that and much more consequential. What were they debating and discussing? Three answers. Amru, bo menachalok et ha'olam, let's come divide up the world. And there are variations, but basically one said, I'll take the movables, you'll take the land. And then they each said, okay, get off my land. And the other ones, take off my clothes. And that brought them to blows, and indeed brought them to this murder. That's answer number one. Yeshua Sachin says, no, that's not what it was. Everyone, they divided up the land already and the movables in some fair way. What were they? They each said, in my boundary, the temple will ultimately be built, and they fought over that. The third explanation offered is Yehuda bar Ami Amar al Chava Harishona Hayum Dayanim. They were basically involved in this conflict around Chava, about Chava, seemingly a sexual matter. There were no women in the world except for their mother, incest. We don't have to have our heads go to that space too much. But that's the third interpretation. Says Nechama Leibowitz, you should understand that this is a big issue. This isn't just, these aren't just three, cute explanations that are offered. What you have here is ultimately a discussion about what brings people to blows, and what brings people into conflict, and what wars are built upon. Three answers are given in our Midrash to explain the root cause of bloodshed and murder. According to the first, economic considerations. According to the second, religion and ideological reasons. And the third, strife over sexual passion. They were disputing over Eve. We know this to be true. You read stories. We read stories. We learn history. The great wars in Europe were fought over such matters, over territory, over religion, and over and sometimes over a love spurned, or a woman that can bring two nations or two kings and two nations to battle. And it's just an important thing to reflect upon ourselves. What is it that has people pick up weapons against each other, or forget nation to nation? What is it that brings the human, one individual and another individual into conflict with one another? And the answer is often it's these matters of influence, matters of possessions, and sometimes over religion. Pardon me 1 second. So it's over territory and property, over religion, and people fight over these things. People fight over money matters with one another. They fight over ideology, whether it's religious ideology or political ideology, and sometimes it's over relationships, whether they're sexual relationships or friendships and jealousies that build that way. We have before us is the warning of the Torah. The warning of the Torah, friends. God is calling out to us each and every year. Look what happened. Two brothers came to blows, came to murder. When people could not imagine they could not appreciate what their relationship was over the other things that clouded it and got in their way. And this is a call to all of us to remind ourselves we've made our way through these beautiful days of awe. It's a good time for us to, we've already done that good work of saying, these are the values that I have. These are the things that are important in my life. And these are things that are not going to get in the way of what I want to achieve and accomplish in this world with the people around me that do matter. I won't let petty or even significant things ultimately bring me down. I won't let whether it's matters of property or matters of ideology or matters of relationships that we wish were or weren't in place. We figure out a way in which we won't come to blows or come to division. That's the warning and the that's put out to us here, and the call that's given to us to lead our lives away from such matters and into greater harmony with one another. Wishing you a Shabbat Shalom. Be well.